as possible. Please welcome Dirk Kerpel, product lead at Evolve, as he closes our keynotes with Don't Complicate, Orchestrate. Why everyone hates replatforming. Stage is yours, Dirk.
Hi everyone, my name is Dirk. I'm the product lead for the Evolve platform. And it's my honor to be last today, so I'm between you and drinks, very well aware. I was doubting what to call the presentation today. I was thinking of going with something that I love, which is orchestrating complexity, or rather something that everyone hates, which is replatforming. And I decided, since it's the end of the day, let's try to bring the energy up to all jointly hate on one topic. So, why everyone hates replatforming. Mikko earlier today, Mikko from Iona, said something very smart about replatforming towards Composable, which is it's the last replatform you'll ever need. That means two things, in my opinion. On one hand, it means Composable allows you to never go big bang replatform anymore, so you're able to break the cycle. But also, secondly, it points to how everyone actually hates it. So why is it? Well, I've yet to meet a retailer that is really excited about a replatforming project, who would really like a project interrupting operations. You have an actual business to run, and here comes something very time-consuming that gets all your effort in. Sure, you get benefits. You get cool new tech to play with. Hopefully, it solves some of the real problems that your business has. But generally, those benefits come at the end. And until that time, you have a replatforming project on your hand. During the project, it looks very different. There are long implementation times, during which time you are basically at a standstill. There's an innovation stop. Anyone who has ever done a replatforming knows you're working on the new platform, and the old platform, the legacy platform, is being put on operate and optimize, just operate, keeping the lights on activity, basically. Any product manager will have to sell any upcoming feature request. Now we'll solve that in the replatform. It will come eventually. And lastly, we've seen some examples today of generally it's not the entire platform that's giving you issues. It's like the 10% that's stopping you from doing what you want to do. But in a replatform, you don't only get to rebuild that 10%, you have to rebuild the rest of the 90% as well. So you have to build all the way from scratch everything that you already had, which can be really frustrating. Well, still, miracles happen. Some people choose to go replatforming. And you can imagine that the case for change needs to be really strong in order for an organization to get over this threshold. Well, we've heard that otherwise all e-commerce would stop. That's a pretty good reason to still replatform. Evolve was actually started from an agency doing composable replatformings over 10 years. And generally, the reasons for change boiled down to three main topics. In some way, there's a scaling demand, in which case, good for you. You have a successful business. It's working. It's growing. But that came with issues. So maybe your infrastructure is not working as well. You start to have perhaps outages. Your integration starts being really bulky. Or perhaps you want to scale, you want to go multi-country, multi-language, multi-brand even, but it's stopping you from doing that or making you very slow in doing that. So there's the cost of expansion or maybe the cost of a lack of expansion, not being able to capitalize on momentum. There's a topic of total cost of ownership, and I think one we're all very familiar with is just simply the license cost that you have. When you have a monolith, what tends to happen is that over time, a vendor will realize, oh, wait a second, you're very dependent on me. Perhaps I can increase my license cost over time. So your platforms will get more and more expensive over time. I think one part of total cost of ownership, which is not talked so often about, is the cost of change. If you get a request, how much time will it take from the request itself to it's being available there on the platform for your end users and not stuck in your system. How much effort do you need in time and how much effort do you need in a team? And it sits kind of in between where innovation is happening. So I'm pretty sure, unless you're some kind of tech guru, no one saw AI coming. But at the same time, you need to prepare for it, and you need to have a structure which is agile enough to deal with that kind of change that is coming your way. So how do you make a platform that is suitable for change over long periods of time? Well, I think we've seen today many different versions of the same picture. Your application that you're on currently, or maybe are migrating out of, sits somewhere on the line between monolithic towards headless towards composable. The old monolithic engines, a great thing with them is that they're pretty easy to install. They're pretty easy to start a line of business within e-commerce, but the cost of change becomes higher and higher over time. Then a step in the right direction is a headless system, where at least the front end is decoupled from the back end, so you're able to iterate more quickly on user experience. And then you're going towards composable. You see, the more you go towards the right, the more flexibility and control you get. But especially, I think, in the early times of composable, that also led often to more complexity. I think we saw the hype curve. People were really excited about the new composable tech. And they were kind of going trigger happy with all the new tools that they were buying. And then complexity really increased. This is exactly what the platform that we're building, called Evolve, is trying to solve. So it's solving the orchestration and the digital user experience here. Now, I would like to take a better look at some of the risks we've been noting down. I have a background in product management, so like some of the earlier speakers, I love to approach any topic problems first, to the annoyance of my colleagues sometimes. And I thought, because let's take a risk first inventory of replatformings and see if some of those risks that are being noted are still really relevant today, or by now maybe there are solutions for them. And because it's the time of the season, or at least in the Americanized Netherlands, it is the time of the season, we thought I would take you for composable trick-or-treating for this. If you would like the candies that go along with them, then come by our booth afterwards. We still have kilos of them. Ouch, your replatforming will take 5 years. Well, this is, it's a horror scenario, but it's not unrealistic. I personally once oversaw a replatforming effort at a large food retailer that started as an easy 1-year platform, and in the end took 3 years, encompassed 6 different projects, from PIM to CMS, to orchestration, to an app, a web, store services, well, you name it. Well, this doesn't happen because people envision this up front. It happens through a series of logical steps. Everything seems equally important. All the complexity you now have has led you to be successful in the first place, is easy to assume. Therefore, everything must be important, right? The second thing is, everything is connected. All your systems speak together. Normally, your brick-and-mortar operations and your online operations are also connected and try to solve the same issues. So the conclusion becomes, do everything. I think in some way this is also a self-fulfilling prophecy. Since the longer a project will last, the more naturally it will tend to snowball. I've heard some battle scars of SAP implementations and ERP implementations. They tend to do that over time. I certainly have those battle scars myself as well. Since it takes very long and innovation is at a standstill, it's really easy to say, there's now this big team that's working on the replatform. We'll fix it in the replatform. And like that, scope creep tends to happen. And there are dependencies on the new platform that just keep on growing, meaning it will grow and be more of a waterfall project over time. So more time is more dependencies. I'm personally of the opinion that a lot of what makes these projects snowball is also the curse of as is. You're successful with your current business, that means in the new replatform you need to have everything as is. And we all know what an e-commerce engine is supposed to look like by now. We have figured this out. There's a homepage, PLP, PDP, search, categories, cart, checkout, account, and all the underlying services that you always need. SEO I've heard many times. GEO is the new kid on the block, of course. But there's all these basics, the plumbing, let's say. Again, the 90% of what is working, that in a replatform then tends to get rebuilt. Unnecessarily so. So, what does success look then like? Success, your replatforming took 10 weeks. Orders are rolling in. I have to be honest here, 10 weeks is our record. I can definitely not promise that every replatforming will happen in 10 weeks. But it is to show you what is by now capable, what platforms are by now capable of. We'll get back later to the 10-week example, because it was a very specific customer case that we were trying to solve there. This is the result of doing this a lot of times. Composable has been around for about 10 years. The agency that Evolve started out was doing this already for 10 years. By now, there's just a foundation of all these kind of key components and key things that you need that is good to go and doesn't need to happen time and time over again, custom for every single project. Well, some lessons to take from this. I think one of the main thing is keep the rebuild down. Don't fall into the as-is trap, but also, the plumbing is already out there. You don't have to build that from scratch. I think something key is accelerate what is common. We call Evolve sometimes an accelerator platform, because you get the platform and it does all the standard stuff for you. And what it allows you to do is build on what makes you stand out. So maybe with Electrolux, that is the key content flows that there are, the really high quality content that builds trust for an end user. Maybe for a manufacturer, that is all the deep knowledge of the product information management. So maybe there you would like to invest more in a PIM solution. On to our next trick. Oops, you're now locked in with one vendor forever. Well, we've just seen what that can cause, enormous licenses. I think with Composable, you also see the flip side of this. So with monolithic, you have maybe too little vendors, but with Composable, you can have too many vendors. If you go trigger happy, you're all of a sudden your processes become very fragmented over many different systems. And here I would like to urge everyone in the room, I think we've also heard this lesson a few times before today, to follow the purpose of what your organization is setting out to do with the web platform. You didn't start this just because you thought it was cool. There was a really clear reason which made your organization overcome the inertia of actually wanting to start on replatforming. So here I would like to take some of the concrete customer cases that we have with Evolve, where we're solving quite different purposes for the organization. The first one is HBM machines. They sell everything related to engines, coming from cars, but even lathes, and from very small parts to huge parts. The real pain that they had was that they had enormous demand, and they wanted to scale throughout Europe. And they were already in 5 countries, but it was just such a So their purpose as an organization was just to be able to capitalize on their momentum and growth, and they wanted to do that with us. So actually with them, what we did was not replatform a current market, but the first launch of a site we had with Evolve was in a completely new market, the Austrian market. Great for risk, because there was no risk, there was no current business to interrupt. It was just completely new. But also it allowed them to prove, okay, we can launch a new market quickly. And then from that proof point, we launched quickly Germany and the Netherlands. And within a year, not only the 5 original plus Austria were live, but also 2 new main markets, Italy and Spain. The next example is quite different. Edco, it's a wholesaler, part of the Spijzer group in the Netherlands. They had a very different challenge. They had maybe a few too many battle scars of replatformings, and their own shareholders and stakeholders were very skeptical about any replatforming effort. So here it was more of an internal buy-in that we needed to get with them to see that this organization can change and this organization can do this successfully. So this is where the 10 weeks came in. We really dressed down to pure MVP. What is the quickest time to market we can have, and how can we have the quickest real proof point? So this didn't mean a demo, but this meant real customers ordering on the site. And with that proof point in hand, then their CIO could go to the rest of his stakeholders on the board, saying, look, we can do this, and this can be done multi-brand and multi-country. And last example I have is Zeeman. It's an everyday low-price retailer, also in 8 countries throughout Europe. They had a data problem, which was masking as an e-commerce problem. Their e-commerce conversion was not good, their retention was not good. And as we started the replatforming, we were done quite early. Within 3 months, the site was good to go. And then the question was, okay, and where's your product data? They did not have it. And then we figured out, wait a second, this customer has a data problem. So then working with them, we implemented Bluestone PIM, and that allowed them to structure their data in a way which in the end made them ready for a website replatform. And in the end, within 9 months, still all the 9 websites were live. So again, what does success look like? You're now using best-of-breed systems for the most used systems. Your content editors love you. Great example of Electrolux there as well. So some lessons here. To begin with, Composable makes vendor lock-in less likely because you're not dependent on one big monolith anymore, but you have multiple systems that help you. But don't get too trigger happy with all the cool tools that are out there. Really think of what is fit for purpose for your business. What is the reason you're moving forward? Is it to be ready for AI? Is it to be able to serve your customers right now better? Or you have long-term expansion goals? Every organization will have probably a different purpose and different business goals to meet. And the last one, best of breed for everything is not smart. Go at it for where you can make the most impact. So when the data is a real problem, invest in a PIM. Where the experience is a real problem, invest in a good CMS. Or if this discovery, as we saw with Constructor, discovery is good, go for a really good search engine, for example. And the last one, my favorite, integration hell. You're now the proud owner of Composable Spaghetti. I think any system over time tends to go towards spaghetti with monoliths and composable system. So how do you prevent that? There are many systems that you need to maintain, and especially I think in the early days of Composable, the patterns for how to set up a successful architecture were not so well known. So there were many point-to-point integrations, and everything on the surface looked good, but if you would scratch at the surface, that was not a good scalable architecture. Even in 2025, a term was coined, composable regret, from this first wave of not so successful composable implementations yet. I think that's also why we're now slightly over the hype curve here, because there are some stories of where composable was not the answer. I don't think this is a problem with composable. I think this is a problem of not really thinking well about a scalable architecture. I promised that today I would stay away a little bit of the more technical story. We love to speak about the technical story, so if you're interested in that, please come and speak with us. But what I do want to show is in high level what a good scalable architecture can look like. Because we're operating in the MACH world and in MACH landscape, we from Evolve find it the most important to be vendor agnostic in everything that we do. As a point of pride, we have demo environments running on all the different cloud vendors, AWS, GCP, Azure, and even Vercel. And we also maintain stacks of different tools on those different environments. So we are cloud agnostic. Then comes a layer of all the SaaS vendors that you know and love. So which best-of-breed systems make sense for you? There's, of course, always a commerce engine. We prefer commerce tools, but there is also other options to be had in the market. A PIM, a CMS, a search engine, again, what is fit for purpose for you. And then comes what, in my opinion, is the real power of the Evolve platform, and also what is real power of scalable architectures, and that's this orchestration layer. We do our orchestration through GraphQL Gateway, and we have different domain services which follow the user journey. So you have your attract, your home page, content pages, campaign pages, generally using a CMS. You have your catalog, search and browse, PLP, PDP. Your checkout, of course, cart and checkout, an order, and an account. Account, of course, will be very extended once you get more into B2B. There are very extensive flows there. And by setting this up with the user journey, what this means is you are able to do this quite small with a small team. But once you start scaling, you're able to scale ownership of certain parts of the user journey with different teams. So, for example, at Frasers Group, one of our largest customers in the UK, there's almost 20 product teams working on the overall user journey. They have 13 brands and are all available in 13 countries. So the scale there is massive. And what you then want is teams to have clear ownership of which part of the user journey they own and which tool stack belongs with that. And of course, no point-to-point integrations here because everything gets abstracted away behind GraphQL, and you have one endpoint that then the front end can speak to. And you can put whatever storefront you want in here. We have a website storefront, but also native apps. We have found over time that this is a great way to connect AI to as well, because you have really cleanly structured data orchestrated in the right way over the entire journey. In that case, a chatbot or a like personal shopper can assist you from finding a product all the way until actually making an order or putting it in your wish list and paying for it. So it's a really interesting. It turns out all this time we've been building a AI-ready infrastructure before we even knew it, but this is a really happy coincidence. And then we have extra accelerator things like a design system, a UI library, all to help keep the replatforming effort as low as possible. So what is the flip side of composable spaghetti? It is a well-architected systems. They are well orchestrated and ready for agentic AI. Again, key here, choose a clean, evolvable architecture. Actually, the name Evolve came from a quote from Werner Vogels, the CTO from Amazon, who said architecture should be able to evolve over time and be revisited often. That also means that Evolve, it's a code base that every of our customers get themselves because it's made to extend over time. We're very particular about not having any lock-in and anything in the way of a developer to revisit the architecture often and keep it fit for purpose over time. Because you will not set even though we think about 90% of the composable decisions about architecture are already encapsulated in the Evolve platform, this will change over time. And we don't yet know how agentic AI is going to transform these ecosystems either. So there's no such thing in that way as future-proof forever. It needs to be evolvable, and you need to revisit it over time. Well, orchestration, of course, is the main way out of complexity, and keeping it very clean and scalable. And yeah, as we found, and as what you've heard in previous talks today as well, clean data and orchestration, that's how you get ready for AI. That means you have the endpoint and the data ready for whatever needs to be asked of you from however kind of agentic workflow that we don't even know exists now will need to be there in the future. So I want to leave you with something practical, how to not hate your last replatform, or maybe for some of you who are in flight already, how to not hate the current replatform you're currently in. So a bit of a workflow I try to distill out of what we've talked today. It should always start from the business case, the case for change. Why are you doing what you're doing? This purpose that your organization has in the short term, long term, the path, how replatform is going to help you with that purpose. Then make a risk inventory. We've went through quite some of the risks today, but I know that there will be more real and perceived risks in your particular organization. You need to bring them out in the open in order to be addressed. With these two things, you know the answer to what is fit for purpose. And you can start making choices about how to go after that purpose, but in a lean and fast way. And I think part of choosing lean and fast is the technology stack you choose, but also the partner choice. If a partner will tell you, no, we do as is, 1 year replatforming, nothing, they are not really a partner to you. And they should help you make some of these hard decisions. And then choose the incremental improvements. Perhaps it's, where's the most value for your organization at this moment? Is it the CMS? Is it the PIM system? Is it maybe the front end that should be decoupled? Because what we heard today, a button color change might affect the price on the checkout. There are a lot of different ways to start a composable replatforming. And it doesn't always have to be big bang. Sometimes you just have to throw out everything and start again. And sometimes that can be the best thing for your purpose. But it's certainly not the only way to go about it. And there are platforms that help you bring this replatforming effort down as much as you can. So closing, give yourself a treat. If you like the trick-or-treat approach, again, we have about 10 kilograms of candy still, still ready for you at our booth. So please come and pick them up. We don't want to carry them back to the Netherlands. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dirk, for sharing those insights for managing the complexity. Are there any questions from the audience for Dirk? Go ahead, Mikko.
Yeah. Do you have any customers in Finland?
Let me think. Yeah, actually, so Evolve, you might also not know them in the list of vendors you see behind them. We're quite new. So since we came out of an agency, we've been sneakily building composable products already for a very long time. But only since last year did we actually productize it and brought our own internal platform outside. And of course, then we were looking for partners to help us do that. And we found in Iona a partner that really thought in the same way as us. So we have already a launching customer together. That's I can say the name, right? It's you. Good. So it's the most Finnish company possible. So they make saunas. It's Harvia. They needed a D2C offering with a very interesting new proposition, and they chose the Evolve platform with implementation by Iona. And there's definitely more in the works here and on the water, but those I definitely know I'm not allowed to speak about yet, but more to come.
Any more from the audience? Because, yeah, we really love to have you as our partner and really happy that you're here today.
Likewise.
Thank you for your presentation, Dirk.
Thank you. And now I will get out of the way of all your drinks and the Sky Lounge. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was a fantastic session to end our day on.